Well, hello model car fans. Welcome to the Muscle Car Modeler. My name is Raul, and this week I wanted to do a how-to on how to detail Mopar Rally Wheels. And I'm talking about the 70 through 74 Mopar Rally Wheels that you kind of see here. And there's a couple of different ways to do it, but this is how I like to do it. And I'm not saying this is the only way to do it. This is just what I do and how I do it. And I've been asked before to do this, so since I've got a couple of projects going that need these, I figured I would show you some of the different steps that I do. So as I showed you this one right here, the 70 Hemi Cuda that I built a long time ago, but cleaned it up and showed you guys, and I did the rally wheels on this one, of course, detail them. And it's pretty simple, but it's somewhat time consuming. And there's no right way or wrong way to do it. And my 71 here that I also showed you guys. And then this set right here is actually for my newest 70 right here that I'm building. So it's coming along, and it's pretty far along. By the time you see this, it will be done. All I really got to do is finish these wheels, and a couple little things left on that to do, but it's pretty much done. Went together real easy. So for starters, here's the wheels on the 70 Cuda, and they are Revell ones. And here's some of the things I use for them. I got 4 different paints, which you really only need 3 of them, but there's a reason why I've got 2 here. And then of course your typical paintbrush. This is my jelly roll pen. This is the number 10 that I use for filling in the lettering on the tires, so I use this. And then you're going to need a real fine tipped paintbrush right here. So if you got one, you're going to need it. I'm sure you do. And then I've got this for the foil, and then this, because these were not chromed, and the steps are pretty much the same other than putting the foil on. So I figured I would show you that on these, and this I pretty much have to do right on camera because there's a few things. And these are AMT tires, and these are resin wheels that are kind of copies from the AMT rims from long ago. And this is going on my 72 Charger project, which I don't have in the background here, but that's on my channel if you've been watching my channel. So for starters, here's the wheel as you get it right from Revell monogram. Technically a monogram kit, but it's Revell on the box on this one, but it dates back to the original. So there it is, all chrome with no details. So the first thing I do is I take my semi-gloss black, or even flat black or gloss black, and then in my brush here I just dip it right in the corners there, so you get a real good close-up view of that. So that's the first step. Alright, and then the second step is I take, see that was right here, semi-gloss black, number 1139. That's what I like to use. So, and then the second level, or layer, the second layer is aluminum. I like to use the aluminum because it's a silver, the wheel itself is silver. And it's an argent paint, but they're all argent paints really. So a couple of different shades here, and these shades are not exactly accurate, but this is what I like to use. So on that I use this, which is aluminum, just Tester's aluminum, number 1181, if it focuses on it. And I use this for that section. And then now this Rally Wheels, this one is really, here's the third one with the layer. I put steel on there. So that's this color steel. This is an older bottle, but it's just Tester's steel. But 70 Rally Wheels have a light argent center cap, and 71 Rally Wheels have a dark argent center cap. So I've used steel for the light argent, and as you can see there's a shade difference there between the aluminum and the steel, which is probably the key to what makes them look pretty realistic. And be careful painting them. Try not to get any paint on the actual lug nuts, leave them chrome. And then the very tip here, I'll get paint on the sides of the thing, but I'll make sure not to get any paint on the tip there. So I'll wipe that. So I'll brush that and get that all ready. But that's a 70 wheel, which is what I'm replicating here. And then to do a 71, I've actually used a little bit darker silver. This is anthracite. It's an old bottle of Model Master. which unfortunately Model Master is gone. I don't know of an equivalent, but you can mix a little bit of a black in the steel to darken it a little bit, or like even on this one, I actually used gray to give it a little bit of a darker look, but that's what I used on this one. Used steel and I used gray. That's what I did on this one, but I like to use the aluminum and the steel on 70s just to give it a little bit contrast. And the 72, 3, and 4, which are these wheels, they have a different cap here, which, like I said, this is resin. It's not chromed. Can't really send them out for chrome. Well, you could, I guess. There's a couple of chrome guys left, but I use Chrome Tech Bob. But since these are not chromed, I gotta foil them. So I got a few steps here. So to foil them, here's what I do. I mean, I take and I cut a square. So right there is a square piece of foil, and I just lay that right on there. And I take my X-Acto knife and I'll flip it upside down, like right on the counter here, and I'll start to trim it just real carefully all the way around. And it's really hard when it doesn't stick and there's nothing, since it's not really burnished down or anything, it's really hard to get it to stick. So here I'm just trimming the excess. Here we go. Alright, so let's pull that off. I didn't even push down hard enough. There we go. So there, I trimmed that. And then I'll fold it over the side here. Get it to trap as much as I can. Alright. So that's part of the trick to it here, is get it on there, and then, where's my Q-tip? Right here. And push it down, get it on there as best as you can. That's a little tight on that side, a little loose on that side, so I need to move it. It's a little too tight on one side and not on the other side, so let's move this over a little bit. And then you burnish this down, so see how there's barely any foil on the edge there? That's going to make it harder to work there in a minute. So let's just move it over just a little bit. There we go. And fold it back over. Alright. So now I've got more on the back side there so it'll bite. Alright, let's burnish it down. And this is hidden by the tire, so I'm not too concerned about this side of it. The trick is try not to wrinkle this side of it. So let's finish getting that all down. So I'll push it right over the top here. Alright. Because I just want it on just that part of the cap. And then here's where it gets a little tricky here. Let's see if I can get the camera to focus. And you can see what I'm doing here. Okay, cut, cut, cut. Alright, so there's that. There's a relief cut there. So let's get that burnished down. And the next step, let's take my Q-tip or toothpick, get it in the groove right here, push that down. Yeah, I'm just light pressure. I'm not pushing really hard. And then now, with the Q-tip, we'll just work it down slowly. And you just keep going. A little bit more pressure, a little bit more pressure, and you'll start to see it hitting the rim there. Alright. So there we go. You see it's starting to get down there. Now we can do this. I'll trim off some of the extra here, make it a little easier to get to. So we'll just gently cut, I'm not too worried about this particular cut because I'm just removing what's stuck because I want to push it down more into the trim ring. It's a little harder to do with the camera right here. And I'm just picking it with the alright. Throw that down. And we'll keep pushing it down with this. Now, see it there? Then I'll just push it the last little bit with my toothpick. Now I'm starting to really stretch this foil. But that's why you do just a little bit with a lot of patience. And you get it down there. So there we go. Keep pushing it. Get all the wrinkles out as best as you can. And sometimes if it tears here, I'll use the Motolo pen and fill it in right there. So it's trimmed pretty good and it's right up against. So now I'm going to take my razor and just run around, trim off this area. Alright, so we got that. There we go. Let's get the last of that because there's some pieces here that don't want to let go. Let's push this down on the sides. There we go. Alright, so there's how you stretch the foil into it. And here's another one that I did a little earlier. So there's a couple of them. And now these are pretty much ready. These two are. And I'll do the same thing. I'll do the black in each one of the spokes there first. And then I'll paint the silver. And then I'll get the center cap last with the darker argent. So that's pretty much how you do those. And I've got a couple more to do. And I've got to detail paint some of those to get them going. But I wanted to show you in steps how I do this and the steps I do. And then here's of course, you know, a tire before and after. And these are really easy to do. I've showed you before in another video, but you know, here's the jelly roll pen, if I could say it right. And then just start filling it in. Just getting the jelly in there, if you can see it. And if you mess up, you can just wipe it and start over. So there's the O's. A little hard to do this with the camera in between you and I. So there's good, and looks like I need to get a little bit more up here. Alright. So she's looking really good here. It takes multiple passes to fill in the letters. But, so you get an idea of what it takes to get it done. But there you go. So I hope that helps, gives you some tips or pointers on how to detail these Mopar Rally wheels and get them dressed up and looking pretty good. So this one is pretty much ready to go on the car. Glue that in place and she's ready to go on. Well, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that helps and gives you some pointers. And thank you for tuning in, subscribing, and all of your comments and your suggestions. I really do appreciate it. And you guys, you have a wonderful Saturday, and I'll see you next weekend.